Welcome back to the first, the last, the Nerdom, the podcast where we explore the first, the last, and everything in between across film, television, and pop culture. And once again, we're diving into one of our favorite ongoing experiments, Binge-Worthy, question mark. The concept is simple. We pick a TV show we've been meaning to check out or revisit, watch the 3 episodes, and then decide whether it earns a full-on binge or if it's better left on one and done experience. This week, we're heading across the pond for some painfully awkward, brutally honest comedy with the British series The Inbetweeners. Following four teenage friends navigating the absolute minefield of high school life, The Inbetweeners thrives on cringe, chaos, and the kind of humor that makes you laugh while also wanting to disappear into the nearest locker. Very of the 2000s. It's unfiltered, unapologetic, and laser focused on the awkward realities of growing up, bad decisions, worst timing, and zero social grace. We'll be breaking down how those first 3 episodes established the show's tone, whether the cringe comedy still lands today, and if the in-betweeners has the kind of rapid fire laughs that make it dangerously bingeable, or if it's the kind of show you need to recover from between episodes. So brace yourself for secondhand embarrassment, terrible ideas, and friendship that somehow survives it all. This is Binge-Worthy, question mark, and this is the first, the last of Nerdom, and this week we're reliving the awkward years with the in-betweeners. And
Yes, we are, Tom. Yeah, this was a good palate cleanser. I think in general it was good to get back to shows that make you laugh. and
yeah, and
and go ahead.
I was gonna say it's a odd trilogy that we had. We had Mr. Robot, Mr. In Between, and now we have the In Betweeners.
Yeah, yeah. So no heavy, dark, neon tones, but we're in for a treat. That's for sure. But before we get there, who are we and what are we doing here? We are the first, last Nerdum, and we are on YouTube home base. You can catch us out there. We're our primary big show every week that we try to come at you with is called First Last Podcast, where we cover usually a theme for the month or movie series or something along those lines. We also have our flipping the pages, which we will be bringing back. We have a few in the tank, so we're excited to share with those with you over the next few weeks, and of course, binge worthy. And with that, Tom, I think you got some traction here on some of our couple of our shows here on Reddit. True or false?
Yes. Yeah, Mr. Robot and Mr. In Between, oddly enough, have big fan bases on Reddit, and I promoted our stuff there. Uh, as you would imagine, Mr. In Between, they're a little snarky there. So we got a little bit of jabs here and there, and very rabid fans there. So if you're coming over from them, hello. But yeah, I'm assuming that the In-Betweeners, will have a big fan base. It seems
I
like
think
one
you'd
of
be
those
right.
shows. I was, introduced to it during the, 2010s, the early, 2010s. I think, so I didn't hit it right when it came out in the late 2000s. But yeah, I think it was on BBC TV. I saw it on. It was one of those cable shows that had their little block of British shows, and I'm all thing. I usually enjoy a British show, so especially if it's comedy. So I was checking it out. I remember really enjoying it back then. I thought I'd bring it back for a binge worthy and see how it stacks up today, because sometimes that humor doesn't age like wine. It kind of sometimes it sours, but yeah, I
It
was
can.
kind of curious, and also I gotta crack open my tropical beverage, but
Yeah,
as
7
usual.
Up. 7 Up style,
Yep. But yeah, were you familiar with the show, or did
No, no,
you
I was, Yeah, I was just gonna say, to finish up or plug it, the
Okay,
Tom's
yeah, yeah.
also
I
yeah,
kinda
go ahead.
jumped the rails, didn't I? Uh, no,
There
I'm
was no in
also
between, Tom. What are you doing?
first last Nerdom. I'm on Reddit under that, and I'm also on X under that as well. And I think Mike has some socials.
Yep, yeah, I have a couple, but, for today, at Sofa King Jewish underscore, man is straight a donkey turned the wrong way. I definitely find myself in between a lot. So this is going back to what razzing it up, as the British would say, razzing it up, really good. Yeah, I was happy to walk into this one. And I love BBC humor. We both kind of had our dueling banjos, kind of sort of, not really. I guess they would not really dueling, but more like kind of like our favorites, like where we covered the Mighty Boosh and for me, and then one for you. That was just hilarious, and including one of my favorites that's become a favorite, says Stephen Toast. I love that. Of course, that's off of the wonderful fruitful tree of those guys for what we do in the shadows too, and other. Anyway, it's a great thing. Pulling it back here. So you found this. So you knew about this back in the day, and you
Mhm.
were aware of it. Essentially, I'm not surprised. Well,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, I picked it up from, the I think BBC Two, but then, the cool thing about it was, like a few years later, maybe a couple, 3, I really got into the, YouTube Let's Play community and really got into like Achievement Hunter and Let's Play. One of their members on that is British, and he introduced them to the Inbetweeners. So I was like, I'm already hip onto those guys. So it was really fun, kind of watching them kind of experience that as well. But they were so popular at the time that they actually got one of the actors in the Inbetweeners, James Buckley, to appear on some of their Let's Plays, and he actually became a bit of a Let's Player. I sent you the link to his
oh yeah.
Completed It Mate channel. I guess he got the bug of Let's Plays, so you could see him playing like GTA and various shooters or whatnot, and completed it, mate. So by the end of this show, if you're a big fan of James Buckley and weren't aware of his output on YouTube, there's that. I also just noticed when I was looking this one up that he has a couple of podcasts as well.
Yeah.
There's the one he does with his wife, and then Keeping Up with the Buckleys or something, and then he does one with one of the other actors on the show. But I'll send you the link on those. But yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah.
uh,
At home.
yeah, At Home with the Buckleys, and then Joe and James. Looks like they're from the two actors there. But basically, what the Inbetweeners is, it's like I said in the introduction, it's about this group of kids. Um,
Teens, yeah.
yeah,
Coming of age. Not
coming of
really
it.
coming of age. Yeah, yeah, he's kinda yeah, because they yeah, they have a good sheen of, how to put it, technical anti-aspirational. Just to say a
Mhm.
couple things. Like,
Yeah.
only a painful, uh, deli absolutely, hilariously, painful BBC way British kinda way,
Mhm.
the get to the get to A to Z. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it's about, the main character's, Will, who, is used to being in, private school. He's going to a public school, played by Simon Bird, and he's painfully trying to ingratiate himself into any clique that isn't the super nerds that he was automatically going to get stuck into. And he meets Simon, Jay, and Neil. They are obviously not completely on board with Will joining their little group. He had to wedge himself in with a crowbar. But but yeah. Then the comedy comes from that. It's created by Damon Beasley and Ian Morris. And yeah, that it's I'm always a sucker for shows that takes place in high school about nerds. Is a theme very near and dear to my heart, being a nerd. So it does bring back memories. And this one's definitely situated in the 2000s. I don't know if you could do a show quite like this nowadays with some of the themes and things that they cover, especially in the
I
first three episodes.
I think that
Mhm,
things that work go well in his favor are that it's a reflection of a little bit of that time,
mhm.
for teens. And if there was a teen version of this today, it would look completely different because the teens are, they're fat. Like you're talking about, a couple generations, there are difference. But what I did like was that you get a very good solid foundation of where we're at and what we're doing, and that kind of really I appreciated that we're just in the school class, kind of environment. I mean, you kind of floated a little bit more
Mhm.
than that, but you essentially are in the classroom, and it's a very good. It makes you care, and you get to kind of see the what the big monster is, kind of sort of like and there's a couple, there's a couple little minor monsters like it being a teen and figuring out where you fit in and like you were mentioning, with the crowbar,
Yeah.
like just trying to fit in and being yourself and
Right. And
how
trying
that
to, maybe, they're nerds, but they have aspirations of being more than that. They know that they should be, chasing girls. They know that they need to be drinking alcohol. They know, to, maybe grow as people.
but
They have to push themselves out there and take
yeah.
some risk. So it's not a nerd show in that they revel in their nerddom. They're kind of trying to break free from their
Well,
shells.
not for and you don't really I mean, you don't really feel sad for them per se, but
Yeah.
like but you do kind of get a sense of like these guys are they're kinda getting kicked. They got they're nerds, and true nerds get kicked, in some kinda way or something. It is that you're gonna get ki and it starts out like that too, like, the right off the bat. The very, like, I would say overly descriptive, uh, episode guide here, which, is bonkers, where, what is that, like 10 fucking paragraphs? Jesus Christ. The next one is like a sentence. Anyway, but, I'm making fun of the IMDb thing here. I just need to find a new website. But my kvetching aside, this is a nerd. Like I felt like you were saying, I mean, I could easily see, a little bit of myself in these characters, and trying to fit in and whatnot. And, and,
Mhm.
and, understanding and living in a world where, God, just something is going to be embarrassing or you're gonna get kicked. It's kinda like how that kick is you just gonna it's gonna happen a couple times a day. Where it's gonna land, you don't quite know, so you just kinda gonna bear it, and then hopefully you try to find, people, your mates or whatever. That's why it's like, "D get off this raft." "Hell no, I'm not gonna get off this damn raft." Like,
Yeah.
anyway, I'm, kinda setting up a little bit more of a emotional soap opera than it is. Um,
Yeah, so to break down the characters, you got Will, who's he does
Simon and
the,
Jay, yeah.
yeah, Simon and Jay. Will's sort of like the, central character. He kinda narrates the show as it goes along, but, he's, maybe a little bit more educated than the other ones, but he doesn't have maybe the experience as the other ones, so he's trying to, ingratiate himself into it. Simon's the more kind of balanced character. He's the more likable guy. He's a bit clueless, but a little bit more clued in than Will is. Jay is a bit of a liar. He's the vulgar one. He tries to play up his experience maybe a little more than he actually has experience.
That's right.
Yeah, he tries to be the wise one, but he often
He's
comes off as the clueless one.
yeah,
And then
the
there's
one-upper.
yeah, exactly. And then, Neil, who's, the lovable lunk, that's, gentle but gullible and, yeah, he's kind of living the day to day. He's the goofy character, you know.
Yeah,
um,
they're all kind of like they're all kind of stuck in their own little middle, you know, even in their own little middle, like where, even amongst themselves, they might not want to have that one or two people like,
Mhm.
whatever. I guess you're in or whatever, like that.
Right. You never want to be on the bottom, you know, and with a group of guys, you're always competing for the top, but actually in competition for the bottom, you know. So but yeah, there's an interesting kind of balance between the characters. They're sort of like the default characters, but in a comedy, but it's somewhat refreshing. And the humor, even though it's a group of probably middle schoolers, is what we'd probably say. With maybe beginner freshmen or whatnot in high school. They're not experienced,
E-
but the show's
Even
vulgar enough to where
yeah,
you
they're not
probably, yeah,
upperclassmen
it's
at all.
right.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are freshmen. They're for sure, and even if they were
Mhm.
sophomore, they are still they're bottom of the stack. Absolutely, yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah, they're a bit clueless. It's a vulgar show, so be prepared. You don't want to probably watch this with your mom in the room, but but it's one of those
They are
shows.
young teenage boys. I mean, what do
Right.
you think young teenage boys are going to be talking about?
And it's
Uh,
a British show, so it's a little bit more flexible in what they could do as opposed to an American sitcom. So there's a little bit more going on. There's some bare ass in it, so to speak.
oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and you would think that with a group of kids, they would have at least one teacher that's maybe their confidant. But yeah, the teacher that they're most have the most interaction with, he doesn't hide his hate for them very well.
Just
Yeah, that too.
yeah, sheer disdain. Yeah,
Yeah.
just a old authority figure that is
Yeah.
uniquely British too, that you would,
Mhm.
not get here. Not like that anyway.
Right, he sees right through their games and strategies. He's not amused by it. He's seen it before. He'll see it in the future. He's just trying to get from day to day, and if he can knock him down a little bit, he's definitely gonna take every punch he can. With this group. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I was gonna say too, you can
Go
tell
ahead.
that these guys have worked together too, because there's, for as quick of a pace that it is for what you get, and BBC are very, very good at, these because you don't have 24 episodes per season or whatever.
Right.
Like that, they had instant chemistry, and you're also drawn in with them as well. I mean, I can see like maybe if you were, it is young teenage boys, so if that is just not your thing, then you're probably not gonna find anything funny or, the
Right.
situations they're in.
Right, and if you're overly sensitive, a group of boys, young boys, isn't what you're gonna um find comfort in. Yeah, they're gonna be crass. They're looking for girls. They don't care what you think about it. They're gonna do what they do. So yeah, I can see where this could be offensive to certain sensitive natures.
Nice.
So
Yeah, you had mentioned about James Buckley and Jay, you were mentioning him. Yeah,
uh,
kinda is he almost is, one-dimensional, maybe two-dimensional, but then that
mhm,
drops pretty quickly as you get to know the chemistry, like, the other
mhm.
parts save him or save that character, like, what could have just been, like, just a joke delivery,
Right.
mechanism, like, where it would be instead of it being a show, it's a skit, right?
Mhm.
So, it is a show and anyway,
Right,
I
yeah,
wanna mention that.
there's more than one dimension. Jay, he's kind of boisterous and kind of tells these lies and try to put on this front, but as you get to know the character, he's maybe more vulnerable than the other characters. He has
Right.
some self-doubt and some weaknesses that are definitely there, whereas the Simon character kind of wears his heart on his sleeve a little bit too much, and gets punched around for it quite a bit,
Yeah,
because he's hopelessly in love with a girl that he's grown up with, and
I wanna check, but yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you see him out, yeah. Yeah, and which it is this leaves nothing to the imagination. And it's not that kind of show. But anyway, I was gonna say it goes from, funny there, but there is this seriousness too between all of them that they all respect a little bit. And otherwise there wouldn't be a there. Well, and I enjoyed that. It was just kind of cool. It wasn't too heavy. I mean, there are really heavy scenes in there, but they don't really weigh it down like you would think
Mhm,
it would, and prevent
mhm.
you from laughing. It's such a fucking horrible situation once in a while,
Yeah,
that these, like when you think about where they're really coming from, it's like, okay,
yeah,
you
yeah.
probably would put a front on too and pretend everything was fine.
Yeah, there's, that I think it's that 3rd episode where, Simon's getting his, driver's, license or permit, and, the lady pedophile is, like, creeping on him. And, I don't know how that would play nowadays, but yeah, it was,
Who knows?
pretty cringy watching it. Yeah, it was funny, but yeah, it definitely rode a line, if not dipped over, to the side of it a little bit, but, yeah, all the episodes are entertaining. Did you have a particular favorite of the 3?
I really liked it. I think I got more enjoyment out of 2, and 3 was fine.
Mhm,
And 3 was excellent as well, but I think it really came together for me in 2, like, where it wasn't
mhm.
just like, "Okay, like, what am I getting into? Is this just gonna be in a classroom or,
Yeah,
or
right.
school, whatever?" It's like, "Okay, no, cool. Alright, cool. We're gonna go beyond that and, explore other things." So,
Yeah, it's
and it was
fun seeing them in different situations, yeah.
yeah, I wasn't all the way sure about Jay, but like I said, his substance came through. Like and when it comes through pretty quick. Like versus
Right.
like where he starts at and where you're just literally given a rubber stamp of cardboard cutouts, and then you
Mhm.
very quickly fill in the pieces because they're not cardboard cannot hide cringe or humiliation.
Right.
like like a good true actor, and they do good. But I would say the second one, is really where I really enjoyed,
Yeah.
the the level of stupidity. Like, I appreciated it, for its depth, and, the 3rd one was just like, "Yep, I wanna see another one." It was
Right.
like that. You hit a good pace if you like it. It doesn't take long at all, and then, by the time you're already there, you're practically, done,
Mhm.
because these things
Yeah,
aren't
it's
there's not a shit ton of them anyway. How about you?
yeah, I enjoyed the 2nd one. I enjoyed the 3rd one where they get their license. Although, I really enjoyed, I think it might be in the 2nd episode where they're out throwing the Frisbees, and, Will does, tries to throw the Frisbee to, Simon's girl group, but accidentally hits the wheelchair girl in the head. A totally offensive joke of that was completely hilarious, and especially when he tries to get the frisbee back and she won't let go. And you have there's a sense of there's sort of like that teenage Seinfeld vibe to it a little bit. Yeah, it's easy to, especially since it's was done during the 2000s, that it would be compared to maybe like a British version of Superbad, but these are distinctly British characters. And when within the first episode, you kind of are forgiven for the fact that you might think it's kind of stereotypical characters, which I think the actors really kind of enliven the characters and bring them into 3 dimensions, as opposed to, just, what you watch the first episode, you don't know everything about the characters at that point. They kind of grow with you, and
Right.
that you get to learn different aspects of them, and it's it pays off keeping with the show, to see how they grow and change through seasons. I have seen the all 3 seasons, enjoyed it. I saw the first movie. I didn't realize that there was a second one. I don't think I've seen the second movie. If I did. I didn't leave a big impression on me. And I did when I was looking at Wikipedia, they said that the creators of the show got the rights back to it, and the actors are on board to bring it back in 2025. They got the rights back, so we may be seeing something with these guys in the future. Obviously, they won't be teenagers anymore, so it will probably be them in young adulthood or mid adulthood.
Oh, yeah, they had 2 films. I wasn't aware of this, but in the research, it said 2011 and 2014, there were
Uh-huh.
movies,
Yep. Yep.
and you had said, they said that in 2019, they had a reunion content, I don't know
Yeah, I
what that
didn't see
is.
that. I think it was probably I think it was like
Looks kinda
maybe
like
a
a short little thing
celebration.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, sort of them getting together, reminiscing. Evidently, it was the fans didn't like it very much, and
Hmm.
James Buckley ended up apologizing online for it. So evidently, it's maybe not something to really catch or watch, but maybe be warned. That may not be everything you want. But yeah, I hadn't seen that. Like I said, I think I seen one of the two movies. I'd be kind of curious about catching up on the second movie, and definitely seeing what they come up with now if they do follow it up with a new series. But yeah, it'd be but yeah, it's a fun little show. It's not anything too complicated, and you're not gonna get overtaxed mentally trying to figure out the show. It's definitely a lot of times if they could go for the crash humor, they definitely go for that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well
if there's a cheap joke there, they're not above going to
well, nobody's in danger of a makeover away from being a winner, that's just not in the cards. There's a very steep cost
it.
to everything in this, and it's almost like a Rube Goldberg machine of like how you take a tiny idea and then do it the
Mhm.
biggest cell phone
Mhm.
to include putting yourself in an oven.
Yeah.
Not really, but
Right.
yeah, maybe
There's
feel like one. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, some things that kind of come up with this that are in the spirit of it are that came before it are like American Pie, that
Mhm.
Freaks and Geeks. And then I never really got into Freaks and Geeks, but I know that people that liked it really liked it. I know that much.
Mhm.
Not saying anything bad about it, I just didn't have any connective tissue with it. But and I was gonna say I don't recognize any of these other ones that came after it. These must be younger things that are Dairy Girls. It says I don't know what that is, but
Yeah, I don't know.
uh, have no
Uh,
idea. But it definitely is. I think this is a easy win if you're not too put out by teenage humor. That you know what you're gonna
yep.
get with that.
Yeah, yeah, if you're
It's
old
true
enough
in
to
20.
understand 2000 humor, that you either know you like it or you don't. So, buyer beware, that it's not politically correct, it does a lot of times, if you think it's gonna go there, it does go there, so, yeah, be prepared, yeah, it doesn't have the, protective sheen that,
Uh-uh.
newer things probably would have, so it'd be kinda interesting to see what the rebooted show would be like. If it will be as well, obviously, the characters are older, and if it does focus on them as opposed to maybe their kids or a younger set of kids, then it would definitely be interesting. But yeah, to see how the comedy translates. But yeah, it's definitely of its time, but it could be appreciated now, I think.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
think a good rule of thumb, if the cringe doesn't hook you by the second episode,
Yeah.
it's probably not gonna work for you, but, I will say by the time you get to the 3rd, you really wanna watch the 4th and the 5th and etcetera. I mean, you really do because by that point, you understand what the show is and you get it and it gels with you some kinda way, even if
Yeah.
it's just a cringe watch.
Right,
Um
and the first 3 episodes, you're still kind of, filling out the characters. You're kind of filling them out, and the actors are as well, so, By the time you get done with the first season, there's a shorthand there on the second season to where you already know the characters, you're locked in. They could just focus on
Even
the
easier.
situation and the humor and just building on it. So, if you enjoy the first few episodes and you like the humor, then yeah, it's just going to get better from there. Whereas if you don't care for these characters, you don't get the humor, then it's not gonna win you over,
Not
like
gonna work.
like Mike said, it's not gonna win you over.
Yeah, 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 like you said, like, tiny goals, but huge collapse.
Right.
And you can only imagine what that looks like from a BBC perspective from these
Mhm.
particular characters, but they pull it off, and, this is I'm glad that we got to cover this one. This is why I love to do this thing because we can find these little fun, happy things that are, well, I mean, they're hilarious to us, that maybe not if you were that person, but, you know, we've all kinda been there, and that is the other relatable thing too, like what Tom said, earlier, which is like, being you understand this. You instinctively, you know what's going on with the nerds on the screen, even if they try to look like they're cool Joe, like Joe Cool shit there with Jay, Mr. Joe Cool, try hard. Or no, that's what the kids say. They say he's a try hard. That's what they would say.
Right. Yeah.
I'll have to check in on that with mine and see if that squares up with reality or if they go, God, whatever, Dad.
Go up, "Hey, hello, fellow kids."
Yeah, hello, kids. Yeah. No, I really enjoyed this, and I think people out there would too. I don't know if I have too much more to say or add, but, it would be cool to, like, maybe if they did something modern day or something, who knows what we don't know or what will
Mhm.
happen, but it
Yeah,
might
and
be
it
cool to,
was
like, revisit that or maybe one of the best of the movies.
yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, and it was fun to see the 2000s and their, yeah, they worked fully over into digital, they still had CDs and well, actually, they were making fun of his, CD or cassette player in the car or whatever, the yellow car, but yeah, in their little common, room in, high school, it was kinda interesting seeing the music posters. You had, NWA and Run DMC, and, shout out to Mayhem. They had a Mayhem poster up on the wall. My, black metal brothers would, rise up, but yeah. Yeah, it was kinda interesting to see what the music, was displayed on there. But yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, it's a fun little show. It's nothing above, it's not like a high tier comedy, but it's, play around with, which was pushed forward in Seinfeld. You have these characters that you love, but, may make, some morally questionable decisions, but since, you kinda love these characters, you're still with them when they make these horribly bad choices in life, and even though it's going to end up no good, but you enjoy the ride, because you enjoy the company. So yeah, it's a fun little show. And let us know if you like it. What other shows, coming of age shows you like? Maybe we'll check
Absolutely.
them out as well.
Absolutely. I've been Mike.
And I'm Tom. Keep it funny.